We got a lot of opportunities slip away. If you don't take advantage of the opportunities, you can end up on the losing side. It always hurts when you're season in, knowing that you had opportunities. Very, very frustrating. Just gotta let it sink in a little bit, find ways to be better.
He's going to go directly to the locker room.
So Keith Jones, their head athletic trainer, greets him right away. So tough. And so proud, does not want to come out, wants to be there for his team.
The career of NBA star Yao Ming could be threatened by a foot injury. The 7'6" center for the Houston Rockets broke his foot. The injury could cause Yao to miss next season and could threaten his career.
Tracy McGrady will play the rest of the NBA season with the Knicks. The former NBA scoring champion was traded Thursday by the Rockets. McGrady had averaged 22.4 points and 5.7 assists in 5 seasons with the Rockets.
Like I said, this has been a tough year. As everybody knows, without Yao, a lot of people wrote us off to begin the season. We gave it a good run. I think that's just the credit of coaches and staff, everything we put together to make it a successful year. Even though we didn't make the playoffs, I think we got a lot accomplished.
Yao sounded far from optimistic about his future, saying, if the foot injury does not heal next season, I might choose to call it quits. He turns 30 in September. He missed last season following foot surgery.
I was a little surprised, but that's basketball, that's life, so you just have to accept that. I knew that Houston Rockets is a great team. They have a great history and great players, so I was excited.
Houston did not make the playoffs despite finishing with a 43-39 mark. In 4 seasons with Houston, Adelman was 193 and 135, leading the Rockets to their only playoff series victory since 1997.
Houston's such a well-coached team. Rick Adelman did a great job. They really flow into sets. They play the way I want to play. They play fast. I just think it was a good fit and a good time, and jumping back in with both feet and coaching. So I'm really looking forward to it.
With the 38th pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Chandler Parsons from the University of Florida.
Basketball giant Yao Ming announced this morning that he is retiring. He told reporters in China today the 7'6" center was drafted by the Houston Rockets in 2002, but injuries sidelined his career.
Rockets general manager Daryl Morey, he likely hasn't had much sleep over the past 48 hours. It's also a pretty safe bet his patience is shot following the NBA nixing a 3-team trade from which Houston would have acquired Lakers star Pau Gasol.
Parsons and Dirk lost it. Dragic behind the back dribble. Nice move. The lead for Scola. Flipped it in.
Nice, crafty, clever, you name it, all of those things.
You hate all those trips down the floor for Dallas, a chance to take the lead.
With the 12th pick in the 2012 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Jeremy Lamb from the University of Connecticut.
I'm excited to be here. Great opportunity for myself, for this team to grow. Given the keys, I think I can drive this car to a playoff team and make the expectation for our team to be better.
I think going forward, that was a little bit too much to pay for a guy that's only played 25 games for you.
Come on, it's a lot of money for a guy who's not an all-star.
I just think it's going to hamper them as to adding good players to their team.
They didn't want to give Harden the max. Everyone who's re-signed here has sacrificed a little something, started working on trades. The Rockets, their interest in James Harden has been known for quite a long time. They were able to consummate a deal with Houston.
It happened pretty fast. I was at dinner and Sam Presti called me and said that I've been traded to the Rockets, and I was kind of in shock. But at the same time, it's a business, and I feel great. I feel comfortable in a great position.
James Harden deserved every penny of the max contract.
No denier here.
He backed it up and made a resounding statement that echoed all the way back to my hometown of Oklahoma City. You blew it, Thunder.
Got to score here. Ashika Harden. Harden jumps it up. James Harden gives the Rockets a lead by 1. It's a huge shot by James Harden.
Coming in now as a starter for Houston this year?
I thought he would be a really good player. I didn't think he'd potentially be a first-team all-team player in his first year as a starter. The responsibility that he's been given.
I'm
Just so happy to be here, man. This is an unbelievable, opportunity for myself and for this city and this team, and I can't wait, to really just start playing basketball, but also get out in the community and make a difference.
But right now, you got to say Houston is a very good basketball team and probably one of the top 4 seeds in the Western Conference by adding Dwight Howard. Then you got James Harden, and you got Chandler Parsons there. They really got some good pieces.
James Harden is a superstar in the NBA. James Harden is a bad man. James Harden can handle. He can run the show. He can pull up. He can pull up from 30. He can. You understand?
It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard, good! Good! And the Blazers win the series for the first time in 14 years!
With the 25th pick in the 2014 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Clint Capella from Geneva, Switzerland. He last played for Chalon in France.
Chris Bosh, who I reported today, is now seriously considering the Houston Rockets offer of a max deal over 4 years. But obviously, if LeBron had said, look, I'm coming back, let's do it again, he would not be looking at the Houston Rockets.
Definitely an up and down year for me. When I look back on the past 2 years, I've learned and grown a lot as a person. From the minute that I stepped into Houston, definitely a much more complete player. I've learned how to do a lot of things that maybe I had never had to do before.
Houston's biggest problem? It's defense. They don't play any. Harden is one of the worst perimeter defenders in the game, and even with Howard and Patrick Beverley, the Rockets were still 13th in the league in defensive efficiency last year. Houston is a playoff team, and they will be fun to watch.
I just want to come in and impact the game defensively, play hard, offensively, not think too much, kind of, attack the basket as much as possible. And we have a lot of outstanding three-point shooters and find those guys on the perimeter when defense decides to help.
Center Dwight Howard said that there is no structural damage in his injured right knee, which is a good news. Howard's game has fallen off a bit this year as he's dealt with injuries, but he's still one of the best centers in the league when he's on the floor.
Three, he did that right before the half, or he could drive on you.
James Harden! MVP move! And the comeback is complete. The Houston Rockets will play in their first conference final in 18 years as they win Game 7 wire to wire.
Been through a lot of adversity, a lot of injuries this year, a lot of different guys going down. A lot of different guys had to step up. Made it this far. Like I said, this is where we wanted to end at, but it's a really good season for us. Next year we got to be better.
With the 18th pick in the 2015 NBA Draft, the Houston Rockets select Sam Decker from the University of Wisconsin.
Who's going to win Coach of the Year?
Kevin McHale. But I go with him for Coach of the Year because I do think the Rockets are going to win a ton of regular season games. If you win 60-plus games, let's say the Rockets possibly do, then they'll just give it to McHale.
We had a rough camp, a lot of guys injured. He just weren't playing very well. So we got off to a tough start, and I came in and I sat down and they said, "You're fired." I went, "Who?" I was like, wow, I really, really surprised me. I did not think that was the case.
Dwight Howard is demanding the basketball. I just don't understand. This is a team that went to the Western Conference Finals. Dwight Howard was a big part of that. James Harden is the guy that is to blame for all of this, because him and Dwight didn't get along.
It was back in 1982, Moses Malone.
I wasn't even born there. Rest in peace. I wasn't even born there, no. Hall of Famer.
But you got your rhythm going now. Thanks, James.
That's a fitting conclusion to the season. 114-81. Golden State advances to the second round. They win the series.
I just think it's a unique opportunity. It's one to be able to coach one of the best players in the game, and I've had the privilege to coach James in USA basketball. And the one thing I did find was that he's very articulate, very smart, and he wants to win, and he's always prepared.
The Houston Rockets announced on Saturday that they signed All-Star forward James Harden to a 4-year contract extension through 2020. The 26-year-old averaged 29 points, almost 8 assists, and 6 rebounds per game last season.
Dwight was looking for a place where he would be loved. He wants to restore his image. He never really wanted to go back and play in Atlanta where he's from. But now things have changed, and he looks at it as a way to restore his image.
Big news with the Houston Rockets organization as they introduced newcomers Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson, free agents from the New Orleans Pelicans. Morey said that they've been after these two for quite some time and feel they'll be a great fit with this new explosive offense headed by James Harden.
They're not going to the finals because Mike D'Antoni's their coach. He's a damn good offensive coach, doesn't think about defense. When we look at this Houston Rockets team, I just think they're ill-equipped to compete for a championship. They're not relevant in a championship picture.
Great contest by Corey Brewer. Great pass to Montrezl Harrell with a slam. And the kid from Louisville with 26 points.
He is a very, very capable scorer, as much of it as a shooter. So for that second unit, having him come in with an Eric Gordon just creates even more space for everybody. It's just the rich getting richer, really.
Honestly, man, he gives me so much freedom to go out there and just be me. I'm turn the basketball over, I might make mistakes, but he has my back 1,000%. Teammates do as well, so it makes my job a lot easier. Trust is there throughout that locker room, and we just go out there, compete at a high level, let it fall where it does.
Here's Harden, Ginobili's on him. He's got shot, what a play by Ginobili! Knocked it away! San Antonio wins in overtime. It was the 39-year-old veteran protecting the house.
James Harden didn't show up last night, to choke, to quit, to do the things that others said that he had to do or he must have done last night. And I don't know who the hell this guy was. I think there needs to be an investigation. He looked like he was drugged.
That's probably what I'm most excited about, is to be on this journey with somebody else who wants it as bad as I do. It's not about me coming here just to help him. He's going to help me. We're going to help each other, and we're going to help this team hopefully get to where we want to be at.
Where the Rockets are right now is that they've got $108 million in guaranteed contracts. They finally got the Nene contract resolved based on the over 38 rule. They signed PJ Tucker yesterday.
We'll see that paired with Chris Paul, their new addition in this offseason, they're going to be really dynamic. What it means is if you play at the highest level that you can play in the NBA, you can become very, very wealthy. And for Houston, it's a huge reward for trading for this guy a few years ago.
Rockets owner Leslie Alexander has agreed to a deal to sell the Rockets to Houston billionaire Tillman Fertitta for $2.2 billion. That would be a record for an NBA franchise, topping the $2 billion that Steve Ballmer paid.
They could have, maybe a top 10 offense all time. They've got a lot of shooting threats around them. I don't know if it's enough to overcome Golden State. I don't even know if it's enough to kind of get close to them, but I do think it puts them at sort of the head of the pack in terms of who's chasing the Warriors.
I might pick them as favorites. They could somehow get out of the West over the Warriors. This team is not a mirage. They are truly an excellent team. They still got to prove it in the playoffs. None of these guys have good playoff records, but right now, they look like the real deal.
Man, this is what I trained about, man. Putting this jersey on is a straight honor. And I feel like, me being from Houston, man, it's just, I'm giving it my heart and my everything.
60 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. The new one-game scoring record for Houston. Harden scored 36 points in the second half. He accounted for 86.
The way that they're playing, this is their style of play. This is their philosophy. And I do think they can go into the playoffs and play this way. Golden State and Houston will be a good matchup.
Rockets on the left side. Harden just crossed over Wes Johnson, and that might be the single greatest crossover in the history of the NBA.
Too much sauce. Chris Paul goes for the first time in his career on the 86th playoff game. He's going to a first finals for him. 41 points for Chris Paul. Guarded by Cook. Paul on the spin. Rebound, Reed.
Well, they might have to drag him because he's not going to come off the court. But he is hurt right now, limping, walking gingerly and slowly.
And that breaking news from the Rockets. Within the last 30 minutes, we have learned that Chris Paul will have to sit out Game 6 against the Warriors tomorrow night. Paul left in the fourth quarter of last night's game due to a hamstring injury.
You're up 17 points and you sense that Golden State is getting warmed up. You're Mike D'Antoni. You've got a call for the troops to slow it down. But Golden State amped up its defensive pressure because they knew that Houston didn't have any ball handlers.
Two games, Game 6 and 7. One half of basketball, we just didn't have the same energy that we had in that first half, our pace. So it's extremely frustrating.
And the Kia NBA Most Valuable Player goes to James Harden, the Houston Rockets.
Sixth Man of the Year to the MVP. Shout out to all the youngest, man. I got a dream. It's a vision out there. Go take it. Go chase that dream.
In 4 years, Chris Paul will be 36 going into a season making $44 million a year. James Harden's extension hasn't even kicked in yet. 2 years from now, Harden and Chris Paul making a combined 76, then 82, then 88, then 94.
If he accepts his role, what they need out of him, what he can contribute, then yes, I believe that he could make them a little bit better. I'm not sure Melo is ready to accept his role.
I still think they're one of the best two teams in the Western Conference. They still have James Harden. They still have Chris Paul. They still have Capella. They've missed some pieces, and they're definitely missing their defensive coach in Ariza, but I still think this team is one of the best teams in the Western Conference, right below the Golden State Warriors. I think they go over that.
He's not what he used to be. Father Time is undefeated. That's a classic example of a shooter whose legs are fading from them before our very eyes. The legs ain't what they used to be.
It's going to be a tough season for Houston. I kind of think they're on the verge of, is this really working? Because when I look at Houston, I don't see them being a relevant team in the West with their style of play. It hurts that CP3 won't be on the floor. James Harden's going to put up incredible numbers.
But I don't believe had James Harden not gone on this historic streak, which is the second longest in NBA history behind Wilt, I think 65 games. He had 32 games in which he averaged 30, but he averaged 41 points over that streak. Now that's what's impressive.
Harden trying to get free. Down to 3, down to 2, it's a 3. Good! Good! He got it! James Harden, a flamethrower! Incredible shot!
Extremely proud. That's kind of been the story all year long. We've been fighting. No matter what troubles hit our way, we find a way to fight through it. We find a way to be on top. Tonight we came up a little short, but it was a pretty good year for us.
Who's the highest paid player on the Houston Rockets this year? Chris Paul. $35.6 million. Where the hell are you? Chris Paul, you got to be kidding me.
There's some hard feelings everywhere right now on the players' side that apparently begins with James Harden and Chris Paul. CP3 wants to coach Harden, while James looks at him like, you can't even beat your man, just shut up and watch me.
It was James Harden's desire to reunite with Russell Westbrook. Those two got together. Obviously, they'd played together in Oklahoma City. Not only did it improve their title odds this season, but it extended the window from maybe a 1, maybe 2-year window to now 3 or 4 years.
Being together on the same team, I think is something that we can lean on, sacrifice, and not do as much to still have an impact on the game and help us to our one common goal and be hungry enough to be able to get to a championship. It's going to be scary. That's all I can tell you. It's going to be scary.
Clint Capella and Nene are heading to the Atlanta Hawks. As big as this deal already sounds, there could also be a couple small moving parts to make it all work out. Covington and Bell will join Russell Westbrook and James Harden on the Rockets as the team shores up its small ball lineup.
I mean, I let them choose that. I'm just out there to play basketball and try to win games. I feel like, whatever decision they make, they put all the work in, all the research and all the other stuff, so I just go out there and hoop.
And neither team fouls to give, both in the penalty. Under 2 to play. Harden, step back, puts up the 3, got hit, shot's good, and 1! James Harden, double team, and a chance for a 4-point play.
It didn't turn out as planned, but, there's so many things and so many different obstacles that we, as a team, had to overcome. Not a bad year, but obviously not the way we wanted to end it.
This would be Mike D'Antoni's last season as the Rockets head coach. Maybe winning it all would have changed that, but the Rockets were eliminated in 5 games by the Lakers last night. D'Antoni telling the Rockets today that he will become a coaching free agent and move on.
And it was Daryl Morey's decision to walk away after 13 years running the Rockets. They're the second winningest team in that span. Morey was ready to take a break. He has had a tumultuous year with the tweet about the Hong Kong protesters.
They don't want to play with each other anymore. Russell Westbrook doesn't want to play with James Harden. James Harden doesn't want to play with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook wants the ball in his hands. He doesn't want to play off the ball as much. Houston is in turmoil. Houston, we have a problem.
And just doing my job is trying to be a leader, be the point guard on the floor, tell guys where to be, things I see. It's all a new adjustment for me, most of the coaching staff and myself, and a lot of new guys we brought in. Always just trying to fit in and figure out how to make this team the best we can be to go out there and compete at a high level every night.
They're rocking those classic Love Your Blue. Let me just say this. I love those uniforms, by the way. I just want to talk about some aesthetics. James Harden definitely had a pregame meal, averaging 17 points per game over the last 4.
We're just not good enough. Obviously, chemistry, talent-wise, just everything, and it was clear. I love this city. I've done everything that I can. The situation is crazy. It's something that I don't think can be fixed. So, yeah, thanks. I've been through all the ups and downs. I wasn't disrespectful towards anyone. I just made a comment. The team as a whole wasn't good enough to compete for a title. The stage of my career, right where I am now, that's what I would love. I'm excited to be here in Brooklyn, excited for a new start.
We're going to have a lot of room to sign free agents, to make trades into that space, to really transform the team. We decided that we're really, really valuing that flexibility.